Okay.
Welcome back. Oh, Spark's gone. Welcome back to English with Jonny, the place where you can learn how to speak good, proper, authentic English. So today we're going to be tackling the most dreaded part of the IELTS speaking exam, that is the second section. In my experience, most students are very apprehensive to do this section of the test. Why? Because you have to speak for 2 minutes and it's a slog. It's extremely difficult, and to do it well and fluently for 2 minutes takes a great degree of skill. You can think of part 1 of the speaking test as a sort of sprint, and part 2 is more like a marathon. How do you prepare for a marathon? You train hard, you build that endurance, you make sure you're ready when the time comes. Now, you're probably wondering what's the best way to improve your endurance for this part of the test. And as always, the answer is not to write down in detail as many responses to as many part 2 questions as humanly possible, because it will never work out. An unexpected question will come up, or it just won't sound as good as somebody who goes in there with an open mind and speaks naturally. So, that's not to say that you shouldn't be practicing as many part 2 questions as possible, but just don't memorize answers to bring into the test with you. Just practice doing as many different task 2 responses as you can, and it doesn't matter what question it is, or how weird it is, or how familiar it is to you. All that matters is the practicing. At first, you will struggle to speak for anywhere close to 2 minutes. You will probably be speaking for around a minute, which is nothing to be ashamed of. You will improve and get better. Every time you do a task 2 answer, you will slowly improve. That's the best way, because I've seen students who can speak for 2 minutes straight away, but it's not a fluent 2 minutes. It's not what they're asking for. So many of my students will say to me, I spoke for 2 minutes. Why did the examiner give me a band 5 for speaking? Well, was it a fluent 2 minutes? Were you continuously speaking, or were there pauses and 20-second gaps, and were you dragging the words out as long as you can? So what you need to do is make sure that however long you speak in part 2 when you're practicing, it's fluent, it's flowing, you're developing an answer. Now, a common misconception in this part of the test is that you'll get a bad score if the examiner stops you. Now, this isn't the case. In fact, I would argue if you spoke fluently for 2 minutes and the examiner stopped you, that can only be a good thing, because you've accomplished your mission, which was to speak for 2 minutes fluently. Now, one of the main reasons why students initially can't speak for 2 minutes is due to their poor choice of keywords when writing their notes. Now, you'll have a minute to write down whatever you need to in order to speak for the 2 minutes. So make sure you're choosing useful words which will allow you to extend your speech if needed and boost you when you're faltering. Don't waste time on articles or propositions or words which are so obvious that you would never need to be reminded of them in a million years. Now, I've been talking to you for quite a while, and I'm sure you are itching to see how I tackle a part 2 answer. So, without further ado, let's have a look at this question. So this question is asking you to talk about your favourite actor or actress, or perhaps even a dancer. So they want to know who they are, what kind of an actor or actress or dancer they are, and the kind of movies or TV shows or shows that they have been in. These are the keywords that I will be using in my response to this question. As you can see, I have about 8 to 10 of them, which is perfect for this part of the test. In my response, I'm going to be talking about Johnny Depp, but I don't want to waste too much time talking about that because it's an easy name for me to remember, so I'm just going to write the acronym JD. Same thing for 30 years. Instead of writing years, I'm just going to write 30y because I will know what it means and every second counts when you only have a minute. Versatile and eccentric. Quite difficult academic words which I probably don't want to mess up when using, so just to remind me. Now the last word, C hospitals. Can you guess what C hospital stands for? Children's hospitals. They're both quite long words, so I chose to shorten one of them just, to squeeze in as much information as I can into that 1 minute time frame. So now you know how I prepare my notes for a task 2 response. Let's go see them in action. Well, actually for me, my top actor is somebody who I coincidentally share a name with. He's called Jonny Depp. Now, he's an A-list actor who has been in the industry for over 30 years now. And throughout that time, he's remained a household name. Most people in the world know who he is and what he does. In terms of acting ability, I would argue that he is an incredibly versatile actor who can take on any number of roles and do them justice. When he is portraying a character, he seems to undergo a complete visual transformation into that character. 1 minute he can be the lovable, eccentric rogue in Pirates of the Caribbean, and the next he can be the childish, odd owner of a chocolate factory. There doesn't really seem to be a limit to his ability. However, he's not just restricted to the acting world. Alongside Joe Perry and Alice Cooper, he formed the Hollywood Vampires, which is an old-school rock group comprised of showbiz legends. Now, he's most famous for the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise where he plays Captain Jack Sparrow. However, I prefer his darker, quirkier stuff he does in collaboration with Tim Burton, such as Edward Scissorhands and Dark Shadows. Now, he's also, interestingly, dabbled in animation, where he voiced the main character in the spooky film The Corpse Bride. And one of the things that I like most about this actor is that he often goes to children's hospitals dressed as his characters. So commonly he will go there as Jack Sparrow in order to cheer up the children and make their day really special. So that's why he will always remain my favourite actor of all time. So that's how I tackle a part 2 question. What do you need to take away from this? Number 1, keep calm. Number 2, use clear, useful notes which will allow you to extend and bolster your speech when necessary. 3, don't talk too quickly or too slowly. No matter how panicked or lost for words you are, just keep going. Now, if you practice and take on board what I'm telling you, you too can be that fluent. You too can speak for 2 minutes and get the score that you deserve. So keep practicing, guys. I believe in you. And if you liked this video and you would like to see more part 2 responses, like, subscribe, and put whatever part 2 question you want to see done in the comment section, and I'll try and give it a shot at a later video. Until next time.